Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion, plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. Easy Eden runs, 15 in a row, no complaints. I got all sorts of volume related issues. My voice volume is lower than I'd like. Thanks a lot, arboreal forests in British Columbia being on fire. That's very selfish of you. Just need some time to warm up. Me. Apologies to anybody who uses these videos to fall asleep. CGNP6V easy. It's got easy in it. How hard could it be? Little chest. It's like a 4 out of 10 starting item. It's not bad. You know, the C's get degrees. 4s get that doesn't really work. 4 out of 10s fail and then take the class next year, but have a distinct advantage against people who have never taken the class, so fair enough. The number one thing about this run, by far, Elsa hair. If it were not for Elsa hair, I would be Elsa scared. I think this is the right time. Crush him. Crush him. Crush him. Ooh, it was not the right time. DPS is a little bit on the low side. Rate of fire slightly below average. You know, I've become much less of a snob about damage. When you play Eden enough, you start to realize, you know, Isaac's damage, Judas's damage. Hey, that's really good. Those are above average. You just thought they were average, or sometimes even bad, because... Oh, definitely... I mean, this is a good room, too, but... you thought they were average or even bad because that's what you were used to, but, now that we played Eden enough, to start a run with 2 damage is probably more common than starting a run with 4 damage. At least it feels more common, but again, it probably feels more common as... It's the thing, you know... It's observer bias, but is it observer bias, or is it just prone to observer bias, which doesn't necessarily indicate that observer bias is happening? You know, just because you've identified a logical fallacy that could exist for a phenomenon doesn't mean that is actually what's happening. You know, it's like ad hominem attacks. You're having a debate with somebody, and they go, you know, wah, 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 and you go, hey, nice glasses, nerd. And they go, that's an ad hominem attack. Yeah, but maybe their glasses really do look stupid, and as a result, they deserve to be mocked in the court of rhetoric. It's not very nice, but hey, sometimes all I'm saying is nerds deserve to have their pants pulled down and be spanked with moon rocks. Anyway, Infestation 2, 10 out of 10. Pin, nothing to worry about whatsoever. He gave me many spiders. We're gonna have 3 HP for the next floor. I'm gonna caffeinate, and we are good to go, dude. I don't like... Our face has gone weird. It's like a Resident Evil 7 transformation here. That's an ad hominem attack, I suppose, in its own right. I don't mean to insinuate that, you know, our Elsa Eden here is not a queen, because all women are queens. If they want to be. Hey! Be cool. 1.07 speed. I'm telling you, if we had 1.05, we're not getting away from that bomb. I love when my voice starts to sound like I'm going through puberty again. Like, I apologize. It's been a bad summer to be my throat. I really apologize. It's a combination of, you know, latent illness, my wife and I passing it back and forth, British Columbia being on fire, interrupted sleep, working a lot. It's the thing is, like, it's a auditory loot box. Even I don't know what my voice is gonna sound like until I start an episode. Sometimes people are like, hey, NL sounds good. Sometimes they're like, he sounds bad. Sometimes they're like, he sounds good, but he sounds like he sounded in 2012. And I'm like, I don't even know how that happens. I'm okay with it either way, because the show must go on. It's true, you know, when I look back on the summer of 2018, I'm going to remember a lot of things. It was the summer. I mean, we're still not all the way through. I have a bias against August because when you're in elementary school, middle school, high school, August is like, it's the final month of your summer vacation. So July, you're like, I've got all the time in the world. And, you know, June, you're like, I got 4 days. That's like infinity days. It's like you're cheating the system because it's June. You should be in school, but actually you got a few days off. I understand in other parts of the world, school ends at different times. Like in a lot of American schools, you actually... Of course. Absolutely. Whoa, okay, careful. You actually finish in May, right? Yeah, well, most of the time up here it was June. I remember I got amazed when I went to my freshman year of college. On the first day of orientation, they like outlined the schedule for the year, and they're like, so yeah, your exams will probably be in the last week of April or so, and then you're on summer vacation. It was the first time anyone had thought to tell me that summer vacation in college is twice as long as it is in high school. Ooh. Give me a sec here. That was very dangerous. I probably should not have done that. We do want to take Black Rune, but let's use this to go to the shop real quick. Buy this. Get the heck out of town, just to protect ourselves. Now, mind you, I understand why college students need a longer summer vacation. I know what you're going to say. It's so they could work a summer job, make enough money to support themselves while they're in college. No. It's so that college can sell 3 or 4 semesters of classes annually instead of 2. You don't understand. See, like, they want to offer spring and spring-summer classes. Gives them an opportunity to make a lot more money. I understand it, but simultaneously, it does have benefits for your student as well. No question about it. Okay, take Black Rune. I've been taking a little bit more damage than I'd like here. Other parts of the world do it differently as well. Like, I don't know if it works like this in Japan, but in Korea... Students don't have... What was that bomb for? Students don't have a summer vacation. They have a summer and a winter vacation. But instead of being, 2 months long, they're a month long each. So instead of getting 1 long break in the summer, they get a 4-week break. In like September and January, I think. To be honest, I don't know which one I would prefer. I think if I were a parent, I would probably prefer the summer vacation. My reasoning is very simple. Don't take this the wrong way. The kids watching this video probably wondering what this nerd is talking about. Summer vacation owns, right? Yeah, but like for your parents, it probably doesn't own that much. There might be some exceptions. For example, I don't know, maybe... During the summer, you help out with the family business and you're cheap or unpaid labor. In which case, sure, you got me. I got us. Your parents are probably stoked to have you at home, so they don't have to pay somebody to work the register at the family hardware store. And you know what? It's good work experience for you as well. Learn the value of $1. But for parents that work in different capacities, it's annoying. You got a... 7-year-old kid, he's on summer vacation for 2 months. What do? You put him in daycare? You can, of course. It's very expensive. You send him to camp? Of course, it's very expensive. I was mostly exempt because from the age of 7 till about 14, I lived in a 3-generational household with my parents and my grandparents. So when it was summer vacation, my grandparents were retired. My parents would just be like, all right, we're going to work. And I'd be like, all right, I'm going upstairs to watch Live with Regis and Kelly for the 38th day in a row. A little bit of a blast from the past, but I can understand now, it's probably a little bit annoying when your kids are on summer vacation. I mean, I imagine... When you take vacation off together, those are like memorable family moments. I don't want to say parents hate their kids and they hate spending time with them, but, you can imagine, and I'm not a parent. I'm not trying to tell you, I'm telling you what it's like to have kids without having kids. I'm just saying, I imagine that you love your kids, but simultaneously, after like 3 years of spending almost every waking moment with a small child, you're like, please God, go to school. And like, I'm gonna be in tears when you're on the school bus for the first time. But then after that, I don't know. You want to go out? Like, we really owe ourselves like a brunch with a few mimosas, because that was 4 years. I don't know when most people go to kindergarten. I guess it's age 5. Yo, we're gonna go back for the black rune. That was a terrible stat upgrade. I'm just saying I understand it. I saw somebody, don't take this the wrong way if you're a parent, because I understand being a parent is hard. The number one thing that tells me that being a parent is hard is that everybody I've ever known who has had a child, their Facebook feed exclusively turned into talking about how annoying it is to have a kid. And I definitely do not think that, oh, well, if you think it's annoying, you shouldn't have done it. I don't think that's a fair thing. I think you can complain about that. I think it's a healthy part of the venting process to be able to complain about having a child and simultaneously also recognize, first, you did it to yourself, and secondarily, like, it was worth it, maybe. I don't know. I think we'll stick with Black Rune. We could use the stats, honestly. Unfortunately. But I follow an indie developer on Twitter. Seems like a nice guy. And I'm not taking issue with him as a person, but I took issue with his tweet a little bit. He tweeted, non-parents don't know that every day that they're on is like a vacation. And I was like, hey, buddy, speak for yourself. I'm fully aware of it. That's why I wrap it up. That's a little callous, but don't tell me I'm not aware of how awesome a childless day is. I appreciate it every single day. I wake up at like 10:30 a.m. Sometimes I eat goldfish crackers for breakfast. It's a dream come true. That's why I actively take steps, to delay the moment of fatherhood until I'm ready. Because, my personality, I think, if you watch enough of these. Eventually, a switch is going to flip in my brain and it's going to be like, you know what, you've had enough fun for one lifetime. It's time to pass that fun on to a new generation. And I'll do that willingly, absolutely. But there's like sometimes, you gotta understand, parents, I have sympathy for you, especially parents of young children. Your kid starts throwing a temper tantrum in a mall. I am not one of those guys that's like, ugh, can't they just shut that thing up? How? How do you want them to do it? What you're saying doesn't make any sense. That's not how it works. Dude, I should have black runed holy water. I got on my high horse. But there's also a little bit of new parent smugness that is like, oh, you don't understand how hard we have it. What are you talking about? Of course we do. We've been hearing about it for years. It's like the number one thing new parents talk about. Oh, I'm not getting any sleep. Oh, my baby keeps crying. Oh, my body's become a factory to produce nutrients for my child. Yeah, I know how hard it is. I've heard secondhand for decades. That's why I ain't doing it yet. Don't try to act like, oh, non-parents don't even understand. You're being dismissive and needless. And again, this guy was mostly making a joke. I'm just using it as a jumping off point for conversation. Yo, but with Little Brim, it's probably worthless. Now, we do want to play our blood bank there, if we can get a little bit more HP. I can't believe we haven't taken red heart damage on this floor. Another black rune. Again, I'm just, us parents and non-parents, we have to live together in peace and harmony. I understand a lot of non-parents are very unsympathetic. I was unsympathetic to young parents when I was younger as well. If a baby cries in public and you're 19 years old, I gotta tell you, I hate to say it because I'm throwing some of my audience under the bus. Just know that I was in this position as well. Your first thought is, this is really inconveniencing me. And even now, people are typing up comments that are like, well, it is inconveniencing. You didn't have to bring your baby to the mall. And, I understand you had to buy things and you didn't want to pay $75 for a babysitter, but I shouldn't have to hear you crying because you have to pay $75 for a babysitter. That's not my fault. I am a fool. I am a fool and an idiot. Grab this, you moron. Take it. and then use Black Rune. Okay, there you go. Yeah, 10 tiers upgrade. That seems like a pretty sound choice, wouldn't you say? I'm not even worried about those. But also, I mean, parents, I understand. But you gotta understand simultaneously, okay? When all you do is post Facebook memes that are like 10 things only new moms will understand, and childless women between 18 and 35 won't understand at all because they're idiots, you know? It's a little dismissive of a large chunk of the population. It's just like a why can't we be friends sort of moment, you know what I mean? Anyway. It's a luck upgrade, I can live with that. We got 38 cents. We got things to do. Our shop is useless. I don't care about our curse room. Dude, am I really gonna walk all the way back to do a boss trap room? Absolutely not, but yet here I am. It's just, it borders on that, like, you know, you can't complain about anything because there are people in the world who have it harder than you at all times. And I believe you me. I understand when people say, oh, you know, there's people starving elsewhere in the world. You can't complain about your minor inconvenience. They're not saying stop complaining. You know, they're saying be grateful for what you have. It is like, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a nice thing to say, but it's not like, you shut up. You don't understand what it's like to really suffer. It's more like, you know, be grateful for what you got. But simultaneously, of course you can still complain. Have you ever been on the internet? That's the spirit of the internet. It's complaining about mundane stuff. It's the whole basis of my show. You know what? Can I just tell you? I had an experience at the grocery store last night. I think it might be my first ever anecdoteless grocery tale. I have anecdotes, but all the anecdotes are positive. Are we done? Dude, our damage is just killing me here. Hey, that's really good, though. You know, the only anecdote I have is I had, you know, goldfish crackers. I was shopping without my wife, which means I can guilt-free buy snacks with no one there to stop me. I got 2 bags of goldfish crackers. It was like 2 for $4 or something. Incredible deal. I guess we're just gonna go, but we could play the blood bank some more. Rest assured, I'm aware. I got up to the front, I was getting ready to check out, and I noticed one of the bags was already open. I don't know, transport error, or somebody in the grocery store maybe was like, oh, I could go for some goldfish crackers and just rip the top off. I know you're going to say that seems implausible, and I can't confirm that that's what's happened, but I've seen some very bad grocery behavior in my life, especially at this grocery store. It's at a nexus of, like, you know, yuppie town and also people sleeping on the street. So there's like a lot of, you know, simultaneously you'll have somebody that comes into the store that smells like urine, and right next to them there will be someone wearing like you know, a $25,000 Hermes purse that's like, does the camembert come with a rind? Can I get a rindless camembert? It's a wild intersection of the two extremes of Vancouver life. I've seen, this wasn't at this grocery store, but at another one in Vancouver, I watched an elderly lady go to, like, you know, a carton of eggs has 12 eggs in it or 24 eggs in it, depending on the size. She ripped the, like, bottom, not bottom, but I guess, like, the rightmost 25% off of the carton so that she had a 4-banger pack of eggs, and then just took that and left like a ripped carton with 8 eggs in it. And on the one hand, I'll admit that I was like, sure, I understand what you're getting at. I don't necessarily think it's... No, that's not true. Because what I was going to say is I don't necessarily think it shouldn't be allowed, but of course it shouldn't be allowed. First off, nobody's buying... I don't know about you, okay? Unless I go to the grocery store and I'm like, well, the ransom note says pick up exactly 8 eggs. I'm picking up 12 eggs over picking up a ramshackle carton that somebody else ripped in half. Because, you know, I imagine if they're the kind of person that's going to nickel and dime you by, you know, defacing a package in order to get the minimum number of eggs possible, they're probably also going to select the best 4 eggs for their own package and leave me with the detritus, you know?
2 of diamonds.
Secondarily, like, I'm just buying the 12-banger at that point. You always need more eggs. There's never been a time where I've been like, oh, I have way too many eggs in the fridge. You know, you just buy them when you need them, and then I'm always it's a box either way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I also, like, I don't even know if that works. Like, can you just walk up to the cash register and they're like, oh, 4 eggs, I guess I'll charge you 1/3 of the price of the carton. It's the perfect crime. Imagine she got a talking to. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'll take 5 bombs, but I'm not walking back for a freaking Yera or a Perthro rune. If I get another one, I'll be happy, but... like, you can't just make every item in the grocery store, you know, purchasable by unit cost. It's not like you can be like, I could really go for a handful of Doritos, but... I don't want a whole bag. That's wasteful. So I'll just buy... I'll rip open the bag, take a handful, charge me for 1/13 the price of a single bag of Doritos. Why are you being a narc about it? It's not how it works. We got rules in this system. Anyway, one of them was ripped open, and I turned to the cashier, or as I call them, a grocery teller. And I said, hey, can you put this back for me? This one's ripped. And he said, no problem, sir. And I said, ooh, it's going to be one of those days, huh? And then he said, would you like me to get you another one? And I said, nah, that's cool. Because I'm a friend of the retail worker. I'm not, come on, dude. I'm not like those other patrons that are like, yeah, could you walk back and get me some more crackers? I'm like, dude, come on. We're on the level. I'm one of you. Anyway, that's the only anecdote I have from the... It was a positive anecdote. That and also, but I mean, I've, you know, I've been down this road before. I didn't realize until I got to the grocery store. I was like, man, it is dead. First off, malware bites, get out of here. It was dead. And I was like, why? And then I realized 2 things. The first one was, it was like 10:15 p.m. on a Sunday, and the second thing was, it's a long weekend. So I pulled into the parking lot, and I was like, I don't even know if this place is gonna be open. But it was. But yeah, I didn't realize it was a long weekend until just now. It's BC Day. Happy British Columbian Day to all my British Columbians out there. You know, BC, it's a great province. It is a little egregious. I'm being real, it's my favorite province. It's a little egregious to have a day dedicated to your own province. Does that happen? You know, I don't think there's other provinces that do that. Maybe I'm incorrect. Dude, the shop was not here, you fool. There's a lot to celebrate. Simultaneously, you know what I'm mostly celebrating? Day off in August. For my entire life. It'd been like July, you get a day off. May, you get a day off. August, well, I mean, I guess for the bulk of my life, I was in summer vacation during this time. But anyway. Let me out of here. I don't want to be rude, but the run has... Jesus, tractor beams. The run has gotten a lot worse. Because it hasn't gotten better. You know, the enemies have gotten... Excuse me. Why did my computer just pause the Isaac for me? That's a terrible sign. Close this. Close this. It also went vroom before it happened, which makes me think probably I've got a Dogecoin miner installed on here. Let's check, you know, live. Control-Alt-Delete Task Manager. Performance. Why are you freaking out, CPU? Processes. What's using the most? Memory? Google Chrome. That's fair. You don't have to have it open, but my memory's not a problem right now. The heck is... I don't know about this one, dude. Give me one moment here. Date modified, service 1 month ago. Okay, this man, huh? Oh, you know what it is? It's Windows 10 sending data back to Microsoft about how I'm using their service. I gotta say, not a big fan of that. It's gone now. But, hey, could you not? All that work for nothing. I'm just happy it's, you know, all I ask is if you mine Bitcoin on my computer, you take me out for dinner. I probably paid for a dinner, so just let me go with you and, you know, pick your brain about what it's like to be a Bitcoin trillionaire. I'm sorry, Microsoft, I got to admit, okay, I have a complicated relationship with the Microsoft Corporation. I much prefer Microsoft products to Apple products. I'm not saying they're necessarily better. I also don't think that's going to ruffle any feathers. I think people are, I don't want to say they're negative about Apple, but I think people in my demographic are negative about Apple to some extent. Because they, you know, they love the headphone jack. They recognize that Apple products tend to be great, but are also much more expensive than they should be for the kind of power that you get. Particularly if you're like a PC gamer, you just like laugh at Macs. You know, you think people exclusively buy Macs to be trendy or, you know, a hipster or something like that, and I understand why people, ooh, let's go, why people would be negative about that. I will say, you know, Kate has a MacBook. I used the program for a long time, and it was fine, but I prefer programming on a Windows machine. I also think Microsoft's development environment is great. You know, Visual Studio is great. Visual Studio Code is incredible. I love C# as a language. I think you're doing awesome stuff with that. Simultaneously, my Xbox is an actual piece of garbage. I'm not trying to besmirch the Microsoft Corporation. I am telling you that I don't know if the Xbox is bad as a concept. My Xbox is a bad Xbox. It was soldered wrong, or who knows. Something went awry at the factory is all I'm saying. In the interest of fairness, my PS4 Pro is amazing, but when we bought a PS4 at launch, it was bricked as well. So I don't want to falsely play both sides. But I will say, you know, both consoles I've had mixed experiences with, but, you know, the PS4 Pro is pretty excellent now. Anyway, that being said, you know, when they purchased GitHub, I was like, I'm confused, but I think I am not necessarily against it. Regardless. What was I talking about? I forgot. It doesn't matter. Please, Lord. Polaroid is fine, of course. I will take another fly in the interest of getting to Beelzebub. But I would love to pick up like a damage upgrade or something along those lines. More coffee, please. Why do I prefer Microsoft products? I'm going to be honest with you, okay? At least for computer stuff. Life's short, okay? At some point, I recognize, you know, that there's like a spectrum of, I guess, it's two competing spectrums. One is convenience and one is quality. You can have things that are convenient and high quality, but I would say that the more convenient something is, oftentimes you end up making sacrifices in terms of the quality. You know, like if you buy a frozen pizza from a grocery store, it's $5 and, you know, you can have it ready in not 5 minutes, but like half an hour. If you go to a pizzeria, it might cost you $15 for a high quality pizza. And it might take you half an hour while you're there, you know? And then you gotta take it home and then eat it piece by piece in front of the television. Which takes another, I don't know, 45 minutes or so, depending on how hungry you are. Either way, and I've lived that life, okay? Hey, stop that. Microsoft is very convenient, at least for me, because I've used Windows machine for pretty much my entire life. Before I used a Windows machine, I used a DOS machine. So I've been using Windows forever. And that's mostly why when I use an Apple product, I get frustrated. Not because, oh, the specs are blah, and you gotta, oh, the permissions are blah. It's really like, how do you use Control-Alt-Delete on a MacBook? I gotta go to Google and then be like, Control-Alt-Delete on Mac. You know? That's the frustrating part. Head down to the next floor. But I feel like the internet is, it's like a sin, they think, to ever make a sacrifice for quality in terms of, for the benefit of convenience. Which is strange to me. Because I make that sacrifice every single day. There have been points in my life where I've cared about quality above all else. There was maybe like a week in university. I mean, there was like 2 years in university where I was really into cooking. That's why it tilted me to an extreme degree when my boy Rob, when I asked why his fridge was so full, said, "You've never cooked anything in your entire life, have you?" I thought that was highly insulting, but, you know, it was a heated moment, and I'm over it. I'm just saying, it's an attack on my identity. Just because I don't cook that much now doesn't mean I don't know how to cook, Robert. Anyway, the point is, I was like, you know what? I'd really like to learn how to make some of the mother sauces. So what I did... If you don't know what a mother sauce is, there's in like French or Italian and some kind of European cuisine, there's 5 sauces that are considered the foundational base of all the other sauces in that type of cuisine. So there's like, you know, supreme sauce, tomato sauce. I forget the other ones. It's been like 12 years, but anyway. So I was like, you know what? I'd like to make a supreme sauce, which I believe starts with a bechamel base. How do you start making a bechamel sauce? Oh, well, you got to get butter and flour together and make a roux. Wrong! You got to high roast the chicken, eat it for dinner, carve the carcass, take the bones, boil them for like 5 or 6 hours, occasionally skimming the top for impurities and fats, and then making your own chicken stock, freezing it, and then using it after it's condensed for a couple of days for a bechamel. And I did it. And you know what? It was delicious. You know what else? So not even close to being worth it. Are you out of your mind? A lot of the work was inactive, right? Like, I wasn't spending I wasn't boiling the water with my own body heat. But still, you know, it's like, oh, you got to pay attention to it. Once an hour, once every couple of hours, you got to come out and check it and be like, yep, that's still boiling bones, and then, you know, do it. And that's not even like counting the cooking time of the sauce and stuff like that. So yeah, it turned out delicious. I would never do it again. I kind of consider it a little bit like making your own bread, you know? My dad makes homemade bread, and he's been doing it for years, and it's delicious. It's fantastic. Is it better than store-bought bread? Yes. You know, if you run a bakery, you might be able to compete. But if you work at Dempster's, I'm sorry to tell you, this bread is substantially better. That being said, he always tries to convince me. He's like, yeah, I know you live in a small place, but you can bake your own bread. It's not that hard, you know. It's really only, you know, like 20 minutes of active work and then cooking it. Yeah, but it's not 20 minutes of active work. It's like a lifetime and 20 minutes of active work. You know, you got to knead the bread, of course. You got to have the yeast, and at first your yeast, it's not going to be that good, you know. It's going to be amateur yeast. You got to wait for, you know, you build up a sourdough starter or something like that gets passed for 70 or 80,000 years. It's like its own living organism. Well, it literally is its own living organism. And then you got to, and he's got the tools. He's got the bread hook that spins it around in the bowl, and then, you know, his whole kitchen gets floury when he's working with it, and it's just a lot of work. Now, the bread is amazing, and I love eating it when I go there. But I don't even, most of the time, You want to know where my convenience scale is at? I buy wraps instead of bread. Because a lot of store-bought bread, I don't like to eat it if it's untoasted. Whereas a wrap, I'm like, just wrap it up. It's good to go. That's a convenience quality thing I'm willing to compromise my own things on. Now, I think you should care about quality to some extent, but I think it happens a lot in communities where people, like, incentivize being frugal. Don't get me wrong. Oh, I love it. Don't get me wrong. Frugality. Dude, this is like a brain teaser. I don't want to black room the Joker card. I think the Joker card is the most valuable thing. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk out, and if we lose the opportunity to take these, so be it. Okay, we didn't, which is incredible. We don't have goat heads, so that was very nerve-wracking. I genuinely think that was the right decision. Then we're going to come in here, grab this, Black Rune, Tears upgrade, grab the Joker card, we're good to go. Frugality is good. There's a lot of wasteful spending in the modern world. I don't know why I said in the modern world. Like, it's one of those tags you can end to the end of a sentence, or you can add to the end of a sentence that means nothing. In today's modern world, the Merriam-Webster dictionary defines frugal. Anyway, you get the idea. But people who are extremely frugal to the point of making it part of their identity, which is fine, are sometimes very condescending about what in the end are normal expenditures. I'm not talking about going out to eat, 3 times a week consistently, which I think most people would describe as an aberrant amount of times to go out to eat. But I'll see these, like, frugal end of year synopsis, and they're like, I went out to eat once on my son's birthday, and I ordered a side salad, and I packed up half of it to go. And I'm like, dude, that's fine. I'm not really criticizing the way that you live, just your assertion that that's the way that everybody should be. Like, talk about buying, like, I bought, like, some chicken breasts at the grocery store. Most people are like, that's a totally normal thing. A very small percentage of people are like, chicken breasts, what's it like, Mr. Moneybags? I fly to Guatemala and buy 30 kilograms of dried lentils and wild rice, and then, when I cook it, it comes out to be 4.3 cents a meal. Okay, congratulations. If you're living your best life, why are you getting up in my grill about it? It seems like you're projecting a little bit. Again, being frugal is totally great until it becomes insufferable. I've done that. I've made compromises like that. When I worked downtown in my hometown, I used to go out for lunch like maybe 3 times a week. I'd buy a sandwich. The sandwich is like $6. It was really good. I look forward to it. It's a highlight of my week, honestly. And, it gets to be 10:30, 11 a.m. And you're like, ooh, I'm going to go get one of those sandwiches so I can power through the rest of the day. Eventually I decided, you're burning your profits. You're eating your profits in sandwiches here. So I'd go to the grocery store, I'd buy like a loaf of bread, some lunch meat, and that would be my, those would be my lunches. It was a fraction of the cost, but, it's also not quite as enjoyable. I'm sorry to say that's what it came down to in the end. Now, eventually, how did that situation resolve itself? Well, it was very simple. I quit, moved to South Korea, started teaching English, and then got a job as a YouTuber, where I never had to worry about that anymore. Some days I eat 3 lunches, some days I eat 0. Now it's just, who knows? By the way, I am going to use the Emperor card on the chest. I'm going to explain to you why, because I think I have a very valid reason. This run is unlosable, but it kinda sucks. 4.14 damage. We've had 1 damage upgrade. And it was the Pact, so I'm very happy about that in particular. If you can only choose one... I mean, we might have gotten the Pentagram, too. I can't remember. But, either way, if you can only choose 1 or 2 damage upgrades, those would be up there. Over, like, Party Clown or the Dogtooth. But, simultaneously, it's kind of a stinky run, if I'm being honest. So we're going to get the heck out of this one as soon as possible. Most of the time, by this point in an Isaac run, we'd be styling a little bit. We'd be happy to spend time on the chest in order to improve ourselves and get new items. This time, that's not going to be the case. And I'll also say, my primary incentive for taking no damage, or as little damage as possible against Isaac, is that I want to be able to use my orbitals willy-nilly against Blue Baby without feeling the pressure that we could die from it. You know something's wrong when you got Brimstone and you're still using, like, orbitals to deal damage. And Brimstone's doing fine. I'm just impatient. You know, it gave me piercing shots. It gave me infinite range. It's just the damage itself is not quite in the, like, game-winning territory. Please, good items. And I suppose Chaos probably didn't help in the whole scheme of things, but it looks like, barring an unbelievable catastrophe, we will be absolutely fine here. I actually do not care if you hit me. It might be better for me if you hit me. I get a Thame damage. I get invincibility. The mathematics just don't work out for you, dude. It's a very lazy Blue Baby fight, but, dude, I mean, I'm doing what I got, you know? We're sacrificing quality for convenience. And, you know, convenience gets a bad rap. I give it a bad rap sometimes. Like, if somebody, for example, I don't mean to pile on to Robert or Austin here. Somebody does something like using paper plates instead of doing the dishes, because the dishes take 5 minutes after you use them. I understand that, you know, that's a sacrifice for convenience, but simultaneously, I'm like, well, you hate the environment? At least wash the paper plate and recycle it. That's ridiculous. Now you get it. But in that situation, I think we made the right decision. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It's a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time, hopefully with a little bit more potency.